Good afternoon, everybody. Tim Wagner here with Wealthy Conversations with, me at the moment, because unfortunately we've got a bit of a technical challenge with Dr. Deneo. So I'm hoping she's going to be able to sort that out. I didn't want to delay. As we say, we're here live every month. No, it's not. It's Wednesday from 1 o'clock for a lunch and learn session around employee well-being, psychological safety, and everything good, bad, and ugly around, people in business. Or is it the people, or is it the executives in business? Because that's the key thing which is coming across all the time. So every Wednesday, we share on our discoveries after having conversations and interviews with HR professionals from throughout South Africa and hopefully even throughout the world very soon as well. But not only South Africa, Africa is our area of focus and concentration. Why are we doing this? There is a clear need that employee well-being practices are changed. Why? Because we're seeing what is in place is not working. And I've had very interesting conversations, we both had, over the last month with healthcare practitioners where we're actually asking people, HR practitioners, where we're asking them in the coal space, what is actually working? What works? What isn't? And if you had a magic wand, what would you put into place to ensure that employees have a more psychologically safe workspace to work in, or are looked after more holistically? I did a talk quite a few months ago now where it was with HR in South Africa, and we were talking about bringing healing into the workspace. One of the areas that was spoken about is healing responsibility of the employer? And I asked the question, who is responsible for healing? Where are people getting healing? Real healing. We're not talking about medicine, going to a doctor. We're talking about psychological, mind, body, spirit. Where are they going to? Are they getting it home? The answer is no. Are they getting it from the doctors? Well, no, they're not. Are they getting it from government? No, they're not. Where are they spending? Where do people spend so much of their time? Well, they spend it at work. If you're not looking after your employees and they're not getting benefit in the home from government, from doctors, but it's impacting negatively on their workspace, if you had to, as an employer, as somebody looking after people at work, if you had to put and invest time, capital, money into their healing and their health in the workspace, would they not be more functional employees? Would they not have less sick days? Would they not hang around and not resign as quickly, the pandemic of quiet quitters? Because now they're being looked after from a holistic perspective in the workspace. Would they not benefit you? So when I take these questions to HR practitioners, and I've had some very interesting ones over the last week, to find out that the HR see the need, but don't have the time. They see the need, but the company doesn't put the resources there. They have the solutions. They're taking it to executives, and this is the key question for this week. Executives are being told this, but are not following through. Why? Now, I had a phenomenal call this past week. I'm going to drop the interview out very soon with Frank, where what Frank is talking about, he says it needs to be looked at from a holistic perspective, where it's not only about healing of health, but it's about wealth as well. Why? Wealth is one of the greatest, or the lack of it is one of the greatest causes of stress, home-based stress. And if that's negatively impacting the work, that also needs to be looked at. But I'm not a wealth practitioner. I'm the health and well-being person. That's what I do. That's my background. He shared a couple of very key examples where he said one employer, and he's from Ghana, one employer do annual reviews of employee well-being. The week before, they ramp up the quality of the food. They do events. They do fun activities. They give extra food in the canteen. They look after the people. Then they do their annual surveys. Come on. We need to get out of that. What is wrong with you as executives that's what you think is needed? Look after your team for 1 week, and for another 51 years you don't. There was somebody else that put together an HR manager who put together a program on employee well-being for 1 week, took a lot of pictures of it, and for the year spread it out. So for the year, the executives thought, hey, look what we're doing, goody, but it was 1 week. Come on. How true are you to understanding the true value of your team? And that's the point of what we're talking about, is that what is in place does not work. So the question is, what are you doing for your team? Who is the most important asset in your organization? If you're an HR practitioner, you're saying, well, the team are, but the executives at the top are blocking it. And this is a consistent theme. Dr. Deneo asked me 2 weeks ago, what consistent theme are you seeing throughout? It is the theme that it's being stopped or blocked by the exco, the executives, it's not flowing down. Throughout Africa, the top executives earning good money have a good lifestyle. We spoke about this last week. But when it filters down to the middle management and then lower, where a greater proportion of salary is in living, rent, food, transport, and there isn't extending income, that's where stress lies. So it's not flowing down, that the company needs to invest in their employees. Another key metric that's coming in is measuring. How do you measure employee well-being? Now, there are measures that you can put into place, but where executives are saying, if we invest in employee well-being, what's our ROI? What's our return on investment? So you need to have those metrics, those basic measures of, are they flourishing? I've developed a flourishing leader assessment to see as a metric where on a scale are the team sitting. Are they flourishing or are they heading for burnout? Analyzing the absenteeism rates, analyzing the quiet quitters. When people resign and they've got an exit interview, how quickly are they resigning? Are they resigning to go for another position because it's better, or are they resigning because they're burning out and they're not coping? Are they resigning for what are deemed as personal reasons? So having a look at those statistics. What are the numbers? Go back in time, one year, 2 years, 5 years. Where are people sitting at? So working out those numbers and having the clear metrics before, then you invest in employee well-being, and then you measure again. Those statistics are the ones that show. And as I've mentioned before, the stats have shown investment employee well-being of $1 gets a $3 to $4 return on investment. You're telling me that a company seeing an ROI of 3 to 4-fold is not an attractive investment? So this is another key area. When we're having a look then at training, this was a key element that came out in the past week, that skill-based training for new employees coming in is always known that's important. There's a training budget. Times go tough, budget gets slashed. What happens to the well-being of the staff? It gets pushed down. It should be elevated. Why? When times are going tough, the employees feel it more. When inflation goes up, who gets hit most? The low-line staff. Who needs to be looked after more? The low-line staff. Who deals with the customers more? The low-lying line staff. But we don't look after them. Why? So you should be ramping up and investing, because the times are tough. The top, down the bottom, it's detrimental. It's dire. So when it comes to then training, how do you add in employee well-being, mindful approaches? How do you bring in this into the workspace? Right at grassroots, as part of the training in the organization, as a set standard, so that it's an investment in them right from the beginning. What is their home life status? How are they feeling? What is their health? And that's where Dr. Deneo comes in. And I've just received a message, unfortunately not able to join us this week. She'll be back next week. Technical, what happens with these laptops. And technical challenges and getting stressed is one of the key 8 signs of somebody hitting burnout. When you maintain that anxiety, I know she's breathing through it, but she'll be back next week. So training, having the holistic perspective around the employee well-being at the same time as the skill-based training, as the customer service-based training, that it is part of the ethos, the culture of the organization. This is what is coming forward that HR professionals are saying should be put into place. If they had the magic wand over the business, what would they put into place? That the culture of employee well-being is as embedded into the company as skill-based training and employee culture, whatever, employee service, so that there is a culture of healing, a culture of well-being. Just having a look at my notes here very quickly. So we're talking about measuring systems. What ROI can you offer to the executives when you're talking about employee well-being practices? And we're not talking about a golf day or a beanbag in the canteen or salad. We're talking about detail. We're talking about lower base. We're talking about right internally at the psychological culture. So what measures do you as an HR practitioner have? And how can you put these into place? See, we've got a couple of people on. Chassis on. Greetings. Hello. Hello from Hong Kong. Charles, wonderful to have you. Measure well-being. Yes, Chassis. What measures are there that you can put into place to demonstrate to the executives that they're going to get a return on the investment? Lower absenteeism rates, lower sick rates, lower reduced staff, better staff retention, less resignations. And when you have a look at the cost of replacing somebody who resigns versus investing in them, it's untold. Executive level, 1 to 2 years of salary is what it costs to replace one of them, plus 6 months, plus the stress and anxiety of the team who are now picking up the work of the person who's not there. So we've got the ROI, we've got the training is embedded in the culture. And prioritizing it, seeing that when your values of your company are the values of integrity and honesty and team, are you actually following the values through to the actual people? That's the key thing. Have a look at the values of the company. Is it projected in the team? The team, the people, the line staff who are the ones who are actually there to embody the values of the company. But if the company's not passing it on down, you've got to disconnect. Here's one other key point, just going through my notes here. I don't have Dr. D today to bounce ideas off. Psychological safety, meaning that the HR practitioners and professionals, do you have the time? Have you got the time to invest in sitting down? You're running a team of 10, 20, 50, 100, couple of hundred people. The time to sit down and have that half an hour, that 45 minutes, that employee really needs, where you can really be full in on them. Do you have the time? So perhaps it's needed that there is an investment of somebody with that necessary skills from the outside who comes in, that they've got the support base. That's also another big thing. Does HR have the support to actually help with the psychological needs of the people? Back to what I said at the beginning. You're not getting it at home, not getting it from the government, not getting it from the doctors. You've got a choice as the employer. And maybe this is my final step and my final point. You've got a choice. Invest in their health and well-being to create an environment that they can heal, to people then transform in their workspace. So it's not just a job, but it's a place of transformation. Either you provide it or they're going to keep quitting. Absenteeism is going to be high, and that cost is a cost in the company that you're going to keep incurring. So my name's Tim Wagner, and I'm part of Wealthy, where we look at the holistic healing, the medical side, the psychological side, the spiritual side in companies to say invest in your team before you become insignificant. I look forward to seeing you all again. Thank you so much for joining live. We're here on YouTube Live and on LinkedIn every week. It's a pleasure being here, digging down deep into saying, what can we do to create better well-being, more fresh practices of well-being, health, and psychological safety in the companies? Until same time, next place.